Hello everybody and welcome to TFG Radio, another video battle report for Dropfleet Commander. So today we have Danny piloting the Shaltari battle starter army. So this is the exact starter army you would pick up if you ordered it from any of your friendly retailers or Hawk. While Adam will be playing the part of the PHR, again straight starter army, exactly as it is. So we're going to be playing the intro mission again, this time using a nice fat mat instead of the little maps they give you. You can see we've got everything set up, and we've even got the little resin tokens all painted up and ready to go. So to do a quick run through, Shaltari are a bit different than every other faction. You'll notice that they actually have more ships on the table, because they don't have strike craft. They don't actually have a dedicated means of ships that specifically go in and drop off troops, because they teleport, because they're the tricksy space elves. So these little circular guys that I have 3 of, these are my void gates, and that big ship is the mothership. So essentially what happens is I can deploy 1 troop per void gate. So the mothership is technically the one deploying things, but the void gates are where they come out of, so I am able to use 1 ship to spread my troops kind of all over. The other big bonus is, as long as there's an unbroken chain of 18 inches between void gate and mothership, I can actually move troops from one sector to another cluster across the board, as long, again, as there's an unbroken chain between void gates and the mothership. So I've also got 2 of these little frigates. These are the topazes, so they're just basically my little gunboats. I've got my Amber class, which is kind of standard cruiser. I have my Obsidian heavy cruiser right here, backed up by 2 Jade ships. These guys are actually pretty cool because their guns completely ignore armor. So, you know, Shaltari are definitely pretty good. If we go over here, we see Adam. So Adam's got his PHR. Now, PHR are known for being kind of super heavy armor. Lots of guns on each side. Yeah, which doesn't matter against Shaltari, but heavy armor and lots of guns. So we've got, if we look over here, we've got just his little frigates, which are the Europas. These guys, you'll notice there's actually guns on each side. These are the guys that can broadside, so they can shoot.
Yeah.
That's the Medias. So these other guys right here, these are strike carriers that are actually dual purpose. This is really cool about the PHR. Their strike carriers can drop off troops, but can also orbitally bombard, so they can blast the hell out of my stuff on the ground. That's actually really clutch. Over here, this bad boy, we've got the Icarus. So this has launch capacity besides the broadside guns, and you can see there's Adam's little launch assets ready to go. We've got the Hector, which is the heavy cruiser right here. And he's got the big burn-through laser in the front, one of the few front-facing guns for the PHR, as well as the broadsides. And then finally we have the Theseus over here, which is kind of your standard cruiser. You can see actually that there's 2 sets of guns, smaller guns that are better at hitting small ships, and then bigger, medium guns that kind of hit everybody. So we're going to play the intro mission, get started here in a second, and we'll see how the bloodshed goes a little bit. You can see in terms of the board we just came on, one of the problems with the Shaltari, because we have a little more ships because of the void gates, our strategy rating isn't as good, so Adam actually pretty much won both rounds. That's going to always happen for the most part. So I had to go first a lot of the times. I've got 1 group over here that's squaring off against a big group of Adam. I've got my mothership here in the center that I absolutely need to protect. If she goes down, my army goes down. I've got my heavy cruiser right here trying to take the center, and I've got 1 lone void gate over there who might just back off and accept that I'm not going to control anything in that sector for a while. Meanwhile, we've got Adam over here, who's got a basically doing a letting me have the center. He's got 3 ships here, including a strike carrier, and his strike carrier and his actual carrier. So I'm gonna have to. I don't have any kind of flyers, so I'm not gonna be able to defend against them that well. And then you can see he's got a big force coming in on the side. There's absolutely nothing in his center. So we're going to see if Adam's going to do what I suggested and start making an X across the board to kind of maximize his fire arcs in the broadsides. So we'll see you again at the bottom of 2. All right, guys, we are back. It's the bottom of turn 2, and doings are afoot. Over here, one of my little frigates actually took a point of damage from a lot of firepower over here. Big money right there. My Void Gate actually made a 5-up armor save, and I managed to deploy a troop into this cluster and a troop into this cluster. What's really key is, again, I need troops on the ground, not armor, because Adam has orbital bombardment, so I need my assets to be able to survive. So hopefully I can maybe next turn put some armor in to fight off whatever Adam decides to start dropping off next turn. Very critical here, my mothership has 2 bomber squadrons on her, and this is a problem because I have no way to really mitigate that. Over here, I was out of range with the Void Gate, so no troops into this cluster. Adam's definitely going to be dropping people off next turn. And you see he's got his Theseus and his Icarus both hanging out on this side. He's got also his Wall of Death over here, right, backed up by with his Hector, his 2 little Europas, and a strike carrier that we're going to go scrum over this sector pretty soon. I've definitely got a hold of the center, but it's we're getting ready to lock horns, and that's not what Shaltari are good at. I need to use my superior scan to kind of do damage, and he's already pretty up on me, and I haven't done any damage yet, so I really need turn 3 to have some hot dice come on and frustrate Adam and make him not want to make him never want to play this game again. I have to beat it out of him as per usual. Hello everyone, welcome back as the blood has been shed. Death and destruction. We have finally clashed and met. So as you can see here on this flank, I lost one of my frigates. I lost one of my, my Topaz. But I also, very importantly, killed one of Adam's strike carriers. So now there's really no way for him to get any resources over here. That Topaz is not very touched. This dude's almost dead. He's he's halfway there almost. So he's going to probably have to try and go out in a blaze of glory over here, try and kill or at least damage Biggie. Over here, I'm controlling the center pretty well, except the frickin' PHR bombers, man, did 2 damage to my mothership. Here, 3 damage to my heavy cruiser. Their shields are up, which is why I didn't get any point defense against it. Over here, we're actually going to have combat next turn, as Adams and I have been dropping down some ground assets. So next turn, which is scoring turn, turn 4, we're going to have some combats going on. So that is... Oh, also, I've been plinking away here at the Icarus and the Theseus, trying to get them down, especially the frickin' Icarus. That thing has to die. But so here we've got at the end of turn 3, blood has been spilled. We're finally mixing it up. So we'll see what happens when we start scoring next turn. Hello, everybody. Welcome back. This is the bottom of turn 4, the first scoring turn, and a lot of bloodshed. Adam almost quit until he realized that he's doing pretty well on the mission. So the way So the way things have scored is Adam controls this cluster with 1 piece of armor. He killed off mine. I actually control in terms of critical location because I got a ship. Here, Adam, because of this ship, controls this cluster, but I actually control it on the ground because I have 2. I've got also this one, but Adam again controls it. So the way it breaks down is I am up by 2 points. It's 9-7 at the end of turn 4. I've killed Adam's heavy. I've killed his cruiser. He's killed my mothership though, so I can no longer put anything down on the ground. So we'll see. It's still anyone's game. Hello everyone, welcome back. This is the bottom of turn 5. You can see that the board is pretty sparse now, as there's not a lot left. I've got 1 healthy frigate over here, basically station keeping, protecting this. Adam is rushing over to try and send forces to control here, and my poor little Void Gate is chasing him. My heavy cruiser only has 2 hull points left. His last cruiser, the Theseus, only has 1 hull point left. Over here, he killed my Amber, and I managed to kill one of his Europas. So we're kind of in a little frigate battle here. So we'll see how turn 6 ends up and who's going to take it away. All right, see you guys in a minute. Hello everybody and welcome back to the end of the game. That's the end of turn 6. As you can see, the field is full of ships, as clearly we did no damage to each other. So at the end of the game, there's no large cruisers whatsoever left. It's just frigates fighting it out. Over here, the Shaltari control this critical location, except Adam actually controls it on the ground because he has a ground asset there I can't get rid of. Here, I control the central cluster because I have some infantry and a tank. I control 2 sectors opposed to 1 cluster over there. Here, Adam is controlling it as a critical location, so he's controlling it by Atmo, but I have it on the ground. So at the end of the game, I score 9 points, he scores 5 more, so the score is 18-12. 18-12 Shaltari victory in a bloody game that really could have swung a bunch of different directions depending on just some critical dice rolls. Overall, the starter armies aren't necessarily too balanced. I think it's fair to say that the PHR is definitely better than UCM.
Yes.
And the Shaltari seem to be the best. Just their one weakness again is you don't have a strategy rating 5 deck, so
your lowest is 7.
Yeah, lowest is 7, which means there's really only one time, or there's no time you can guarantee you go first, and that was problematic. That actually
Towards the end it was, yes.
That caused my heavy cruiser to die because the Theseus got to activate first. This was the first game we had a ground combat that we've played. First game we've heavily used station keeping because at a certain point it was just better to just kind of stand your ground and start blasting. And overall, Shaltari again, scan 12 is freaking massive. I mean, and this is the thing, I wasn't using any of their close action ships. Their close action ships are freaking insane because they ignore point defense. Yeah. Let's get Adam's response to the fact that...
my response to that last one because it's like playing against Eldar again.
As I said before, if you check out TFG Radio in the faction breakdown, Shaltari are space elves. They are the Eldar, which means they're very tricky, high skill cap. They're super squishy. Once Adam started connecting, it wasn't very hard for them to go down. PHR, very tough. Very slow, though, because I was already dropping troops off and he was responding. And again...
I started slow. I could have gone full thrust, full throttle. On the first turn, but I tend to go cautious in the beginning, and that seems, especially with the last game with the UCM, that kind of bit me in the butt. Also,
fair, wise words, wise, chilling words.
No one's ever accused me of being wise.
This is very true. All right, so with the end of the game, that's all 4 armies we've seen kind of in action. Maybe if we get time, we'll do a Shaltari on Scourge, or PHR and UCM, the kind of revenge. Yeah, I mean, I think that would be ideal. Would you want to do 99 plus 1? Do 1,000 so we can use battleships if we get them.
If we get them,
yeah,
we can do 99. 999 will probably be the next one.
Yeah, because then we get a battle cruiser and some more variation. I will say that, God, PHR bombers are insane, and only 2 of them were doing so much damage.
Yes.
So, are you saying next game you're bringing 10 launch assets?
What's the max we can have? 15?
10 at 99, below 1,000.
At once?
Yeah.
Then I'm bringing 10. Yeah, most likely. I've been looking at the bombers the whole time.
Yeah. So PHR, bombers, good. All right, everyone. So that is the latest episode of TFG's battle reports on Dropfleet Commander. Hopefully our next game, again, will be somewhat full armies, just shy under 1,000 points outside of the battle box. Yeah. Hopefully have some of the space stations built and painted so we can run one of those missions. And if you guys like this, drop us a line, comment, hit us up on Facebook, check out the Happy Halfling, all that good stuff. And hopefully this will be, we'll get another episode of this up soon, and we'll have yet more adventures of Mexicans in space.